In this tutorial, we are going to be taking apart a MacBook Pro 2011, but this will work for any MacBook Pro 2012 and under with the DVD drive. The screws just may be in a different place. In mine, I already had taken the screws out of the casing here because I had to take the battery out because it was bulging to a point where it felt unsafe. So I'm going to go ahead and just assume you can take those out. This could be used for any MacBook Pro model. The take apart will be a little bit different, however, but the process of cleaning it and the way to clean it will be exactly the same for realistically any electronic device, so you don't ruin it. But to take this one apart specifically, this video will help you. It's also pretty similar to other ones. There just might be a few extra screws you might have to undo that you might not know about. So if you have any questions, feel free to throw them in the comments section below. But let's get started. First thing you're going to want to do is undo the battery, which will be around here. I already had to take mine out due to it bulging and starting to bulge the mouse pad out and seeming pretty dangerous to have around. It only involved 3 screws. So there's one right here. That's one screw. I still have the screw on there. The last one is right here. Hold down the power button on the other side for about 10 to 15 seconds just to get all the power surges out. The next thing we're going to do is take the RAM out. What we're going to want to do is just pull these 2 pieces apart here and it pops up. Take one of them out, set it somewhere where it's not going to get damaged. Now that we got those out, we got to unplug everything that we can. There's things all around the motherboard that need to be unplugged. The main ones are all on this side over here. There's a couple under this, and there's your fan screws and then your display port there. So first, this is our hard drive port. We're just gonna do that, and that's all you gotta do is just undo it. The next thing is a red cable here. That is gonna be your speaker. We kind of just want to get underneath that and pull it up. Should just come right up there. Don't pull too hard. Next one is right here. This is going to be for your disk drive, but in my case I have a hard drive caddy here. This is for a secondary hard drive. If you want to see a video about how to put that in there or what it does, feel free to look in the description below for a video. We're just going to unplug this here. It just lifts right up. If you want to get technical, you can use a tool like this, these bigger ones. Just be very careful not to pull sideways. You want to kind of just pull up on them. If you don't pull directly up, you might ruin the port. There's this little cable here. You just got to pull it directly outwards. It just comes right out. This piece comes off with 2 screws. There's also a port here that you can pull up on. I'm gonna lift right up on it. Pops right off. See that? This is just Phillips for me. For your computer it could be different, but you just take these 2 screws off right here. This right here is going to be your keyboard. You just have to lift this up here a little bit. It should come right up. And then once it's up, you can just pull the cable out with the given extra tab. Don't pull it by the actual cable because you could ruin the cable. This one right here, that one just lifts up like all the other cables did. Just pulls right off. So essentially right now we've got all of our cables off except for the display port, which we'll do right now, and then we're going to go ahead and start taking it apart. Alright, this one's super simple, but it can cause a lot of issues. So there's a little tab here. Mine was a little stuck. I had to get it unstuck by prying up the corners a little bit, but after that it kind of just swings right open there. And after it swings open, you just take it and you pull backwards on it, and it should pull right out for you. We're going to start on this side of the motherboard again. So there's one here in the corner, the very corner. Then there's another one in the other corner over here. And then we have one on the fan. Make sure when you take the screws out, you put them somewhere in order. So when you put them back in, you know exactly the right spot that they go in, so you don't put the wrong screw in the wrong spot. Mostly MacBooks, the screws are the same length all around, but other devices like iPhones, there's tons of difference of sizes of screws in those, so you just want to make sure you always have them in order. we've still got 2 screws left for the fans that I left on purpose. So for the first fan right here, there's a screw right here still I left in there. And then for the other fan, there's a screw here and here. So we're going to go ahead and lift this fan up, and it's still connected right here, and that's when I'm going to go ahead and grab it and just lift it up, and it should come right off, nice and easy. And we got our fan, go ahead and put that somewhere. And then as you see, there's another flex cable right here, so we're going to go ahead and undo that one real quick. So we've got 2 screws here. These are for your charger. We're going to go ahead and just take those guys out. Alright, so we've got everything out, and we're going to go ahead and take this out now. You're going to take this, move all the cables out of the way on this side here, and once you get all the cables out of the way, you're going to go ahead and lift up, and you're going to notice that these over here are going to start coming loose. And if you wiggle it, you'll notice it starts to pop out. So it pops out nice and gentle. You should not have to pull hard at all. And everything should come out together like this. And this will still be connected, which is your charger. And you'll have the whole motherboard. And then as you can see, the other side's pretty dusty. We're going to go ahead and be cleaning that up. And then I've already got some videos on how to take out the other concepts of this, which is the disk drive and the hard drive. I'm going to do them real quick, but if you want to see an in-depth video, they'll be in the description below. Alright, we do have this over here, which is all of our networking stuff. Alright, so this is what it looks like. Just going to go ahead and get underneath and pry it up. And I'm not going to take them out just because I don't need to. I took them out because I do want to spray some air into these to get them all cleaned up. And we're going to take out the disk drive. And I'm not going to take it off just to make life easier. I'm just going to lift it up because there is a screw or a wire holding on right there. And once I got that all nice and clean, I'm just going to screw it back down. Once you get it screwed all the way down, we're just going to take a can of compressed air and we're going to spray out the inside of the MacBook, getting all the dust out, and then wipe it down with a towel just to get some of the dust that's stuck on there loosened up, and then spray it down one more time to get that loosened up dust out of there. And then we're going to get to the motherboard, which is the more fun part. So we're going to put this aside, and as you can see, it's pretty dusty. So I'll show you both sides here. This one's pretty bad. We're just going to take some duster and spray it off. And as you can see, not all of it is coming off, which is never a fun thing, but it's going to be pretty stuck on there. And then I've also got a very soft ended toothbrush just to get the rest of that dust off. Just gonna very gently brush it. Nice and gentle, nothing too crazy. Spray it back off. Now we're going to take the heat sinks off so we can replace the thermal paste on there. We're going to clean it off and put new on. The thermal paste is going to help the heat dissipate from the processors to the fans so your computer doesn't run as hot, or so your fans don't run as often. Then we are going to take off the other heatsink for the built-in graphics, and we're going to clean that off as well. I use some Arctic Clean. It's the same brand as the thermal paste that I buy. There's 2 steps. The first step is to clean it off. The second step prepares it for new thermal paste. I just use a regular towel, preferably a non-static one, to clean this off, being very gentle. And you can also use a soft toothbrush, the same one we used before, to get some excess off. I try to make it look really clean before putting new on. I'm going to take 100% isopropyl because it has no water in it, so it'll put no moisture and no corrosion on the motherboard, and dip it in with a toothbrush, and then I just gently brush off the whole motherboard to clean it up. This step is optional because some people might not feel comfortable putting essentially liquid on their motherboard, but it does clean it really well, and it's also used for getting rid of water damage on some devices. After everything dries, we're going to use part 2 of our material. This is going to clean up, or this is going to get the surface ready for new thermal paste. And with this second step, if you read the directions, you just tap gently and let it kind of dry onto the processors. You don't really need to wipe it off. So you just gotta let it dry on there. And then we need to take our heat sinks as well.
And we need to take our fans and blow those out. And we're just going to take step 1, pour some on there. And we're just going to clean it up.
Alright, now that our motherboard is all dry and good to go, all cleaned up, now we're just going to reassemble everything exactly the way we took it apart. What I use is this Arctic 5 thermal paste. It's a high density. Squirt just a little bit on there, and we're just going to take it and just mush it around. So we're going to go ahead and apply that. Basically, with thermal paste, you don't want to use a lot of this. Essentially all it does is reduces or takes away the air in between the processor and the heatsink. So you don't need a ton, just a little bit. There's different ways I've seen people do it for application. Some people put it directly on the heatsink, some people put it on the processor. I'm not really sure if there's a actual right or wrong way to do it. Throw that guy on there. Push it down just a little bit and wiggle it just ever so gently. I'm just doing that to kind of even out that thermal paste and push it down on there so it's on there right. So this is going to go in the same way we took it out. So we've got our little charger here, and it goes over here in the corner. So essentially we're just going to slide it in at an angle and kind of just wiggle it till it gets in there, line up the ports with the ports down here, and we should be good to go. Just take your time, be careful, because it can get a little difficult. Don't really worry about the charging port at first, just kind of put it over where it needs to be. The rest of the stuff kind of line up with where it needs to go. There we go. Put that guy in there. So mine just kind of slipped right in there. And then you just want to grab some tweezers. But you just want to get your flex cables out of the way. So I got all these flex cables out of the way. I didn't put the disk drive caddy back in with the secondary hard drive just to see if everything works first and to make it easier when I do a format and a refresh on the new hard drive I put in, just so I don't get them confused. I will be putting it back in once everything's good to go. As you can see, the computer is turning on and works fine. I just hold down Command and R and then power to get to the recovery screen. If you want to know how to be able to format the hard drive and do a system recovery and reinstall the operating system with a fresh install, please look at the links below. I'll post a link to a video of that. But that's it, guys. Thanks for watching, and feel free to hit that like button. If you want to see more videos like this, hit the subscribe button. If you have any questions, put them in the comment section below.